Hi, good morning, and thank you so much for joining me in my shop. Today is November 14th, and I've got a cat toy right here. What do you say? What? He's never seen it on my finger like that before. He doesn't know what to make of it. Gonna pull it off? Take it off. There you go. Here you go. On your way. Okay. So today on the leak tuner, I think what I'm going to do is look more closely at some more electrolytic capacitors and change them out. Oh boy. Let's take a look, because I know I saw a few. Let's see how many more we can find in here. I'm just looking here. See one here. One here. Yeah, there's three of them here. I've seen these. And then there's this guy up here. Hunts. Moldy. And notice that it's kind of thrown in on top of everything. This might be a replacement. I don't know. I really can't be sure, but it's Hunt's type of capacitor. These are not. These are often leaky. These molded capacitors here. The rest of them are. Oh, there's a certain type here. Type here. There's a different type here. But I'm inclined to leave all those. They're not electrolytic, and yes, they can fail and whatnot, but just going in and doing a random replacement of a bunch of capacitors would be a real mistake. So let me just go at these ones here. I wonder what they're doing. This is only a 0.1. Is this really electrolytic? This one says on electrolytic, so no question here. They certainly look like it. But 0.1 is a small size capacitor. Why would it? Is it also a 0.1? I don't know. And then this one here is a DC. This is a 0.25. Okay. I'll take a look on that. Let's look on this schematic next, and we'll see if we can spot these capacitors, especially the 0.01 ones. Okay, so electrolytic capacitors are sometimes given a special symbol in schematics, and that's the case here. You can see electrolytic here, and here is a clear bar and a black bar. Here's one. Ooh. What's this? Oh, this is a 1,000 microfarad. Where's that? I didn't see that. Uh-oh. So I've replaced this, this, and this. Didn't see that. And as for more electrolytics on the schematic here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. Would you believe someone's at my door? Part of the pleasure of doing this kind of work is sorting through conflicting information and trying to match what you've got in front of you to a schematic, and oh my god, it's just going crazy with this. So when I look in here, I see clearly one electrolytic capacitor waiting here. I see two that look like electrolytic capacitors, but their rating is low, 0.1 microfarads. So that would be 1, 2, 3, and there's this molded one here. This one's a 4. Okay, let's get confused now. So here's an 8. This is the capacitor I pointed to. That's a 4 in my radio. It's an 8 on this schematic. But if you chase it down on this one, it's a 4. This one shows a 4, but it also shows a 10, a 10, 100. Now all this stuff here, after studying it for a while, I realized, wait a minute, all components inside the dotted lines are contained in the decoder unit fitted inside the Trough-Line tuner. There's no decoder in this tuner, so none of this exists here. Look at they got transistors here. So this is probably a later thing that came along, and the leak engineers decided time to start working with transistors. And so, oddly enough, the next stage or step or development in this was to abandon the tubes and to move into transistors. So I don't know that that's true. I'm kind of making that up. So none of this exists. So we come back over here. Look, there's a 1 microfarad, one there. Look, there's 1,000 here. Where's that in the radio? I didn't see this. I didn't. Yeah. Look, there's a, yeah, that, I did do that. 40. I did these 3 here in the power supply. There's another one down here. I can't find any of these. Just this one. Oh my God, I can't find any of these because they're not in the radio. Oh my gosh, I can't think straight for 2 seconds. Now I've got a cat in front of me here. I can't see the screen anymore. Okay, let's abandon ship here. Okay, well, despite all the confusion between schematics and information, this is pretty clear. This is a electrolytic capacitor, 4 microfarads. I've got a replacement here I'm going to put in. I don't know that this capacitor is bad, but it would be a good guess that it's not as good as it could be. This one in right here. Good. I'll get that done and we'll see what's next. Okay, now what about these two? So, you know, they look like electrolytic, but based on their size, they really can't be. They have this shrink sleeve over top of them because they're metal. This is a metal can. The metal can suggests a better capacitor. So I think what I'll do is I'll lift one leg here on this one, and we'll test it and see how it stands up and how easy it is to get this out. My guess is every one of these components has been installed very carefully in here, and nope, it's not true. It just came right off. Yeah. Okay, we can test this now. 0.1, eh? Let's see what it says. So, so this is indicating a weak capacitor. So the 133, when it really should be 100 nanofarads, it's showing a higher reading. How does the capacitance go up? It doesn't really go up. I think what happens is the capacitor becomes leaky in this machine, gets confused on what the actual capacitance is at that point. So you can't test a leaky capacitor and get an accurate reading with this, I believe. So that's encouraging for replacement. Now, is there something special about this? Like, why doesn't it just have an ordinary... You know what? There isn't a single wax capacitor in here, and this was probably their way to avoid it. Putting a wax capacitor, they put this in. Maybe because they already regarded wax capacitors as a poor quality and they want to sell this top of the line type thing. So they're going to put in better parts. So that's my guess. That's my story on this. This is 150 volt regular capacitor, and it's not electrolytic. That's what I mean by that. 0.1. And this one's also 0.1. So I'll put 2 0.1s in place of those, and we'll go from there. Okay, so I've got these 2 replaced. We can test these on my high voltage tester. Maybe not this one. It leads them. Feels kind of loose. We'll test this one. 0.1. Doesn't say anything special. Has a red end and a black end. Yikes. These really do look like electrolytic capacitors, but 0.1 is 0.1, isn't it? I guess maybe if you want to get a 0.1 back in the day that was built like these, it'd be double this size. It'd be a great big thing. And maybe that's why they didn't want to do it. So maybe they got these because they're smaller. They're literally just smaller. Let's check it out. Now if it's electrolytic, if that's really the case, and they haven't marked a plus and a minus on it, they just have a red and a black, then it's a little tricky to do this particular kind of test that I'm going to do here. So we'll assume it's got a polarity, and we'll assume red is positive and black is negative. So this device has a setting for testing electrolytic capacitors. It's this thing. If I set it this way, it changes the machine's function quite a bit, and I have very little experience at testing electrolytic capacitors. So because I don't bother. So let's try with it set as if this is a regular capacitor. We'll see what it says. So this is 50 volts. This guy's good for 150. So this shouldn't hurt it. So here we go. Okay, so the idea here is the eye closes when current is flowing in the capacitor. Of course, there's a charge current, so it closes initially and then opens, but see, it didn't open. Now I'll put this on electrolytic. It's also a power factor adjustment, and I again have no familiarity with. Let's see what it says this time. So this time it's suggesting it's a beauty. The eye, can you see it? The eye is just popping right open. So I don't know what to make of this capacitor for sure. Because if it was electrolytic, they would be very inclined to write a positive, like put a positive a plus sign on the capacitor body. They wouldn't just rely on red and black, or would they? I don't know. They're gone anyway, and we've got two in here now. So there is one more capacitor I'm really interested in finding, potentially electrolytic capacitor, and that's the one that is found in the discriminator circuit in the radio. So let's look at the schematic. We'll see what it looks like in the schematic, and then we'll see if we can find it in here. Yeah, we'll see. All right, let's take a look. Okay, so we look for the circuit that is maybe not with the schematic, because the output here, the multiplexed output from here goes into this circuit, and the detector's probably over here, like right here. You see these two diodes right here. Let's look at the other schematic. As wrong as it might be, it's much easier to look at. This is a much more nicely drawn schematic. So here, in this circuit, there often is a 4 microfarad electrolytic capacitor, usually sitting right in this position here. There's a 0.1 down here. That's on the other side of this resistor, big resistor. There's this little one. This is just for robbing off some RF, I believe. If there's RF still getting through here, this is to try to nab it, I think. I don't see it. I don't see this stabilizing capacitor here. Okay, there is none. That's probably why I can't find it. This 0.1, how much you want to bet that's one of the ones I just changed? There's another 0.1 over here. There's probably a whole bunch of 0.1. How many more 0.1s are there? So there's 2 I've seen already. Well, let's just go look at the parts list. Is there a parts list? Yeah, I did look at this earlier when I was trying to track down the situation with electrolytics. I don't know if I actually put this on the screen and talked about it, but here's the list of electrolytic capacitors, and there's only the one. And I believe in my radio, this is a 4, and I've replaced it with a 4. That sure sounds like the capacitor that would be in the discriminator. Huh. But there's only this one on this list. So for instance, the 2.0 0.1s I did, here they are, right here. They're written right here. Now look, you can quickly look down here and see there's only these 2. 150 volt, that's what they were. What for? It's all these numbers. These are all the part numbers. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. And this NPO, I forgot what this means. Negative, these might be capacitors whose capacitance, variation in capacitance during temperature change is used to compensate the radio. I'm not sure of that. But anyway, it looks like there just is no other electrolytic capacitor in here, according to this. These are all fixed capacitors. Okay, shall we, what else? So there is no such capacitor, so there's nothing for me to do. So let's play the radio and see if it still works. Okay, I think we're ready to start now. First of all, I'm just going to knock down my microphone volume and show you the hum you're hearing is just in my shop. Here we go. So, I don't know if the hum is in my equipment or if there's actually a hum, like an audio hum in my shop that the microphones are picking up. So, not to get too, not to think the hum you're hearing is coming from here. So we're going to turn this on. Not there. Here. That's right. So we're going to power up the transformer here. It's really surprising just how bright those lights get when you turn on a transformer with no load on it. And that's how much current is flowing in it. Yeah. Okay, I think we're ready for step 2. The volume is, turning off my capacitor checker. Okay, so here the volume's going up. This is the coming from here and back down. Still don't know why this volume control doesn't do anything. I haven't really investigated that. And I also haven't investigated why is this cut away and what was done in place of it. This is the local and distance thing, so we have to investigate those things yet. So still more to do. Okay, gonna go knock down the volume here. You can't hear anything anyway. Okay, volume's down. Set's on. The voltage on the set, we don't know what it is offhand. Okay, volume up. Oh, we got a hum there. Okay, so I'll turn the mics off.
Brothers and office movers have really captured something that is so specific to a time, to a place, to an experience that it makes it universal.
I have not to this day moved a couch without yelling the word pivot, even if no one had to pivot at all in picking up that couch. Gaia, we mentioned the Drake thing earlier, and I'm interested in this because I do think it's been a difficult year for Drake in terms of just getting good press, but this unambiguously people A are loving that he's a part of Office Movers, and also B, they're sort of, I think they're thinking of him in a different light. They're maybe being reminded of Drake of yore, you know, an earlier time, an earlier sort of time where Drake was willing to be as funny as he is, because I genuinely think he's really funny. Do you think Office Movers becomes an opportunity for Drake to kind of like turn the corner on the Kendrick beef and go, can I do something else for a minute and like have some fun on television?
Yeah, I think so. And it works so well. And it's nice to watch because then you're reminded like, oh yeah, he did start as an actor. He's great in Degrassi.
Some of us are never forgotten, but
exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, and it's, I don't know. It feels like a way that his persona can kind of rehabilitate itself after that crash course, what happened with Kendrick.
Yeah.
And I think it's nice to see somebody that is such a mega star.
Yeah.
Like put themselves forward for something that is still quite small, and something that is still so intrinsically Canadian and intrinsically like GTA.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see him support something like that and, churn it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I totally, completely agreed. That season, by the way, season 2 of The Office Movers is streaming right now on Crave. My name is Alamin Abdul Mahmoud. This show is called Commotion. Kaya Shinyad is here, Rad Simon Pillay is here, and Terry Hart is here. And before we go, we got one more thing to talk about, and it's this.
You must be the lady I've been hearing so much about.
Yes, sir. It's an honor to meet you, Mr. King.
Now tell me about yourself. Jesse here says that you fight in all pink.
Well, I'm from West Virginia.
What's that got to do with pink?
Nothing, sir. I'm just telling you about myself.
So that is from the trailer for Christy. It stars Sydney Sweeney. She plays the boxer Christy Martin. It premiered at TIFF in September. There was some Oscar buzz for Sydney, including from some people around this table. But since it arrived in theaters last week, the story has shifted a little bit. Because last weekend, the movie made $1.3 million. It opened at like 2,000 screens. That makes it one of the worst openings for a wide release of all time. Rad, there has been a lingering, shall we say, cloud over Sydney Sweeney since that American Eagle ad, the jeans, my jeans are blue. Some feel sort of Christie's poor box office performance is a result of that, or at least in conversation. Where do you land on this?
Yeah, it is too neat because I think there's a lot of factors that went into it. They did. And first of all, why are you putting it in 2,000 theaters? Oscar buzz and everyone yelling that this is like Charlize Theron changing her look and giving you an Oscar-worthy
Monster.
This station we're listening to is 91.5. You can see it's way off on the dial here. And I'm also looking at the magic eye, which is not closing, which might suggest a weakness in the radio, or I'm just not picking up the station with enough signal power. I'm also running this on 157 volts instead of its full 220 or 240 or whatever. And that's because those dim bulbs are still in the circuit. So even at this voltage, it's working fine. So I'm going to leave it like that. We'll turn it back on. I'm going to tune across now. We're going to listen to different stations and try to avoid getting a copyright hit.
Flash and the internet breaks, so they were probably I guess they were banking on that in putting it into Red release, but then clearly this.
Au-delà de la répartie, c'est plus une idée d'improvisation.
C'est l'apprentissage.
Voilà,
finalement.
c'est
Donc, le vous le répétez aussi dans votre tête.
Oui, mais donc plus dans un contexte, justement, là, de quelque chose qui a été fait devant public, dans l'instantanéité.
2 weeks.
J'ai une question.
From 9 to 5, couples who want to strengthen their marriage. Tickets are available at journeytous.ca.
F100.3.
What happened just now? It just suddenly changed. Maybe my antenna connection. That seemed to fade in and out there a little bit.
when it's such a big point of contention for her fans and for people outside of like her like fandom, especially considering the politics of right now. You know,
You got to say something.
condemning white supremacy isn't hard.
That seems like a low lift to me.
Yeah.
But I will say this. Sydney Sweeney's talked openly about the fact that like she doesn't come from Hollywood money, and the idea of like an ad. She's someone who does not want to close the door. And if she's sort of seen in interviews being like, I shouldn't have done that ad. Suddenly, those calls stop coming. Suddenly there's nobody else sort of making a call being like, oh, you should also be in our ad. Having said that, you gotta say something. I think, Terry, where have we landed in terms of this idea of the state of the Sydney Sweeney brand right now? Where are we at?
Well, I think it's really interesting that we're talking about Glenn Powell and Sydney Sweeney in the same show. Because
Very
really the
differently,
movie,
yes.
yeah, but really the movie that, really differently. I don't think that differently, actually.
Okay.
The movie that launched both of them into kind of anything that resembled chatter. That was the movie.
That's a
and it
rom-com.
launched
Yeah.
Yeah, and it launched conversations about where are rom-coms. Like it.
But sometimes you gotta leave the only thing you know.
That's problematic. I don't think they marketed this movie in any way that felt fresh or new. It felt like, yeah, I've seen that before.
What happened here? It seemed like the signal strength was really high, and now it's gone down. It could just be my antenna. Who knows what else is going on in here? But I thought I got a much higher reception on that than there. I thought I got about twice as strong. Well, let's wiggle the antenna here and see. Well, yeah, it could just be. Also, the careful tuning I'm doing, I'm listening to the point at which the radio noise disappears when the limiter begins to operate. Sure seems like the radio's a little stronger down here than up here. Notice there's no particular hum down here, but up here between stations you can hear a bit of a hum coming through. And probably that's because the radio's sensitivity, when it's not tuned into a station, the sensitivity automatically goes way up. And so it's probably able to hear things that really aren't important, that don't that once you tune something in, it goes away. Here.
Says the revenues paid for more than 900 crossing guards in Toronto and 18 traffic safety police officers. The federal government says it will spend $210 million on other traffic calming measures like speed bumps and raised crosswalks. And
so, see, it's quiet. You can watch. I'll wiggle this, and you'll see it remains quiet.
Details from a multi-year investigation into the police service were revealed to CBC News this week. The report indicated that the police service was rife with widespread belief of favoritism, harassment, and a poisoned work environment. 33 recommendations were made in the report.
Okay, now we'll go to another spot here. Pick up another station. I'll try the same thing way up here. The stations are much weaker. Gotta watch it. I'm gonna get a copyright hit if I'm not careful here. There's a really weak station. It's noisy all the time. Noisy.
Don't believe me, just watch. Don't believe me, just watch. Don't believe me, just watch.
sense of the eye.
Get the Joe. Patterson. Hey! Hello, Canada. Welcome back to the Debaters. We are back in the great province of Alberta, home to the world's largest beaver dam. True story. Why would I make that up? World's largest beaver dam. It is so big. You can actually see it from outer space. Yes. You can see it from space, and that puts it in the company of the Amazon River, the Himalayas, and Daniel Smith's ego. And it's just a bit small.
So this is a program I listen to any chance I get called The Debaters. And what they have is they have two comedians come out and debate a stupid issue. They pick something goofy, and the two have to debate it in front of a crowd. And they have a little bit of a structure to how the debate goes. And they do two debates, 15 minutes each debate. And it's a half-hour radio show called The Debaters. And it's very funny. It can be very, very funny at times. We'll listen to it just a little more here.
And come on out here, Erica. There she is, Erica, taking her place. The podium to my left. And this comic once knew a flower child who turned out to be a bad seed. It's Saskatchewan's Dakota Ray Hebert. Come on out, Dakota. Dakota striding across the stage, representing Saskatchewan. Your topic is one that'll give birth to some new ideas, we hope. Baby showers, are they just the best? My wife Nancy and I had a big baby shower for our daughter Scarlett. We were given a bunch of gifts that really helped out with the baby, and some that didn't. Thanks again for the vasectomy gift card, Erica. For our second daughter, Nora, we already had all the stuff from Scarlett, so we didn't have a baby shower for her. And if she ever finds out, I'll have to spend all the money we saved making her use her older sister's stuff on a new car that she could drive to her counseling appointments. But enough about that. It's time now for a debate that is sure to deliver. So, whereas it's a fun-filled way for family and friends to share love and laughter and celebrate the arrival of a newborn, be it resolved that baby showers are great. Erica, you are arguing for this, and you have 2 minutes, starting now. Erica Sigurdsson.
Thank you. If you don't enjoy baby showers, you're approaching them all wrong. And by that, I mean sober. Unless you're pregnant, in that case, I'll be over here drinking for 2. Or I guess 3. Finding out you're pregnant is some people's greatest fear. Either way, a baby shower is a party that says, my grade 5 health teacher was correct. Unprotected sex has consequences. Now pass the spinach dip. Baby shower games are the best, like trying to diaper a baby while wearing oven mitts.
Okay, I'm cutting it off. So, some comedians are better than others. So, okay, I wanted to listen to it for a length of time, see if there's something drifting or anything like that. I noticed the A automatic frequency control kind of knocks things over to the side. You have to go back over. You have to hunt them down again. It's not supposed to do that, of course. Whether it's actually helping the radio stay on frequency, this is less an issue today. Certainly the transmitters don't wander off frequency. That's absolutely true. The radio itself could still have a bit of a drift in it, and I guess an automatic frequency control will compensate for the drift to some degree. But the drift will end once the unit is warmed up fully, and this one is built specifically to not drift. That's what this whole transmission line system is all about. It's all about countering one of the main drift problems in high frequency radios. Okay, what to do next with this? So I still have not found any instructions on how to align this. I'm starting to wonder if they're published at all, and I got to go back and try to hunt them down. But that's it for today. This is sounding really very good. The quieting is 100% down at this area where you get the stations are a little stronger. Up at this end, it's not quieting quite so well. Now that could just be because, you know, I'm located where I am. The transmitters are far away. The one we've been listening to mostly is located just 30 miles from here, or 30 kilometers from here or so, 30, 40 kilometers in Barrie. So that's why this station shows up stronger on the Magic Eye. The fact the Magic Eye works at all is a great thing too. Wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to continue to look for some kind of alignment because there's clearly an opportunity to improve the alignment on this radio just from the few things I've been able to observe. Very good. Well, thanks a lot for watching today, and I hope you have a great day. I'm working on mine. See ya.